This is RV Vagabond Jerry, and my last video was the last video of my spring 2025 RV trip from Galveston, Texas to the Northwest Angle, Minnesota. And this is my first video of my summer 2025 RV trip, which will all be in Canada. Going to see the Canadian Great Lakes, and there's 7 of the Great Lakes that I'm going to show you. And at the end of this video, I'll show you on the map the route that I'm planning to take to show you the 7 Great Lakes. And I thought it'd be a good idea to start off this trip with taking a look inside the Manitoba Museum. Although I think the sign behind me is in French. So first, let's go inside and see what they have here. Welcome to Manitoba. But I'm glad I'm not here when this guy was and have to do his job. Not a job I would want. Yeah, that's a big one. It says the bison is a Manitoba icon. And I'm on treaty land. I did not know that. Well, I would like to know what the nonsuch is. I don't know. What here could be nonsuch? This shows the history of Manitoba. This is actually the history of the museum, I think. Toddler takeover program. Look what they've got in their insect tray. Some really huge beetles there. Here's a fur coat and an Indian headdress of this Indian nation. I don't know, this seat doesn't look too comfortable to me. We've got a big rock collection, and look at this giant amethyst. Wow. You got a really nice underwater scene here on this big screen. Wow. Those are really odd looking fish. One kind of museum I've never done on my channel is an aquarium. I just thought it would be a little too boring. I wonder if this was all found just like that. Like they didn't need to piece it together. It was just found all put together like that, buried in sediment. Big dinosaurs like this, I think they find the bones in various places and then they just assemble them together. Now what is this? A glyptodont. Huh. I bet that is not real though. Somebody did a good rock stacking job. Now there are 3 parts to this museum. This is the history museum that I've been showing you so far. And I've only shown you a small portion of what they have here. Here's a really big display of how the Indians lived in Canada. There's some big moose here. We have a really nice butterfly collection. Oh, I see. The nonsuch was the name of a boat. And this is like a life-size recreation. This thing is huge. Shows a lot of the detail here. There's a whole lot more to the History Museum that I'm not showing you. I'm just trying to pick out some things that I think will make a good video. The second part is the planetarium, which is only open at certain times. And the third part is a typical science gallery, which tends to have a lot of kids around. And as usual, science museums are just a playground for kids. You got a racetrack with some really odd-looking cars. Well, folks, that's all I'm going to show you. But I guarantee you there is a whole lot here to see. It can take you all day to see everything in this three-part museum. So now let's go to the map so I can show you where I'm going to be going on my summer trip. Now you may have been confused when I said I'm going to be showing you the 7 Canadian Great Lakes. Well, let me show you which ones they are. This is Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. Those 4 are the Great Lakes that border Canada and the U.S. However, there are 3 more pretty Great Lakes just a little ways north of Winnipeg. And this is Lake Manitoba. And this big one here is Lake Winnipeg. And then this one is Lake Winnipegosis. And Lake Winnipeg looks like it's about the same size as Lake Erie or Lake Ontario. Now this is not a lake, that's the Hudson Bay. Then when I leave Winnipeg, I'm going to go to Delta Beach and Sandy Bay to get a look at Lake Manitoba, and then go up to Crane River, Camperville, and Dawson Bay to get a look at Lake Winnipegosis. I'm going to come down this way, and I'm going to go into this little town called Easterville that's on the shores of Cedar Lake. This is Cedar Lake. It's not a great lake, but it's a pretty good sized one, and it's just a short drive there. And then I'm going to go to Grand Rapids, and then down here to Anama Bay, 2 places to get good looks at Lake Winnipeg. Then from Anama Bay, I'm going to go down to Oak Point and Twin Lakes Beach to get some views of Lake Manitoba, and then go over here to a few more places to get some views of the south end of Lake Winnipeg. And then once I've done with all that area, I'm going to come down here to Thunder Bay on Lake Superior. So from Thunder Bay, I'm just going to follow right near the shore all over the north shore of Lake Superior, and then the north shore of Lake Huron. And then there is a ferry that goes across here. So I think I'm going to go onto this island, take the ferry over to here, follow along the shore of Lake Huron, going down to Lake Erie, follow along the north shore of Lake Erie, over to Niagara Falls, and spend probably about a week at Niagara Falls seeing the Canadian side of the falls, and then over to Toronto along Lake Ontario to Kingston, which is on the far north end of Lake Ontario, and from there I'll cross over into New York State and then start coming on down south to Pennsylvania. So when I leave Canada right here, that's going to be the end of my summer trip. Now that's what I had planned. Strange things can happen. Things can break down. I can't guarantee you this is the way it's going to go, but that's the way I have it planned. So I hope you follow along with me this summer so you can see some of the things that I see as I'm traveling these lakes. Good day, folks.